Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Hollywood here. Hopefully you guys are having a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, whatever time you're watching this video. Today's topic in today's video is going to be what E85 did to my bike. So far I've had nothing but positives on it, so I don't have anything that's going to be like bashful in this video. And yes, it is Brent tuned, or like BMWS tuned with the E85, and I've used pump E85, I've used X85, and we're going to talk about all that in the video. So let's get right into it. Okay, so jumping right into the video, to kind of explain another, like the popular question is, what is E85? Well, I don't know what it is because they don't sell it where I live, yada yada yada. So E85 is a flex fuel. It's a mixture of gasoline and 85% ethanol. I don't know like the in-depth term, like the in-depth definition of everything. I just know it's a mixture of gas, and it's also known as flex fuel. I know not every state sells it, so like if your state doesn't sell it and you know it doesn't sell it, I would not get this tune on your bike, or you just have to order race barrels from BP Fuel. And I know another popular question that everybody wants to know is like, every popular thing that everybody says is, oh, when you get E85 or the E85 tune, it uses way more gas. Your fuel mileage per gallon is going to drop, like a bunch of crazy stuff. Now, if you watched my last video about E85, it's called I think it's E85 turned my bike into a beast or something like that. Well, basically, in the beginning of the video, I drove to an E85 station, and I also said that when I was using 93, riding my bike around like just regular, and I was racing here and there, did a couple pulls, I had about like 150, 160 miles per gallon. But then, 150, 160 miles till E. And then when I put the E85 on my bike, let it idle for about 5 to 10 minutes, it swapped over the maps, and then it dropped down to about like 120 or 130, I believe, till E. So it really just depends on how hard you push your bike day to day. If you're racing every single day, of course your mile per gallon is going to go down. But if you're just driving your bike around casual for pleasure, you get on the throttle here and there. I've gotten a tank of E85 out of the pump before, and it might feel miles till E, it shot up to like 140, 150. So like, it just depends on how hard you ride your bike. The next thing I want to talk about is like cold starts. So everyone knows the infamous E85 cold starts. Yes, according to Brent Tune, it's recommended that you change your brake pads. Lord have mercy, I'm having a stroke, bro. Change your spark plugs at 16,000 miles, or before you get the tune, or yeah, before you get the tune would be better. But there's a certain amount of miles. I think the 16,000 mile service, I believe they change your spark plugs anyways. I think that's why that's used as an example. So like, you gotta change your spark plugs because really the ethanol that's in the gas mixture, it needs to vaporize to warm up. So like, it's going to make ignition way harder than what it needs to be. And if you watch my last video about E85, I mentioned that in the video. I was like, I don't know why it takes so long for E85 to crank up. Like, it's just crazy. So I did a little research, and that's what I found. So yeah, cold starts, if it's colder temperature outside and your bike's been sitting for a little bit, yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder to start up. And it's always funny. Well, it's not really funny, but it's like, usually, like, I'm in a car group chat, and when it's colder outside, everyone will send like their startups, and we'll all guess how many times it takes to start their car up if they're on the E85. I've never had, like, when I first got the bike and I put the tune on it, and I did my first startup, I think it took 2.5 starts of me pressing the button for it to get it to start. But every time after that, it's just hold it down, it starts within 3 seconds. So like, you know, it just depends. So moving on to the next topic, a little bulletin point I have on my phone here. How much wheel horsepower does it give you overall? Now, according to Brentoon, I'll throw a little chart up on the screen. I don't know how much it gives you each time, because like it's obviously going to vary between bike. It's going to vary between temperature outside. It's going to vary between the bike temperature. It's going to vary between mods you have done to the bike, all that good stuff. So like, I don't know. And like, I just know it's a good in between MR12 and 93 pump gas, because let's face it, if you don't have a built motor, there's really no point in running MR12 in a bike. Like, there's just no point, because yeah, you'll get some you'll gain horsepower obviously because it's race gas, but like MR12 is pretty dangerous to your inside. Like, there's an argument, you know, E85 does the same thing, but MR12 cannot just sit in your bike like that. E85, it can sit in here for maybe less than a month. I don't even think MR12 can sit in your bike for like 2 weeks. You gotta, like, if you put MR12 in there, you gotta use it, because all the alcohol inside that gas, it'll just dry all your fuel lines and everything. It'll just make the inside just worse than what it is. Now, I have heard that E85 burns way cleaner than 93 or anything like that, and it'll actually clean the inside of your motor. Now, I don't know how true that is, because I've not torn my motor down to really see, but I've heard multiple people say that, so I guess it's true. You know, I can only go off of somebody's word. Maybe somebody should do a video on that and like tear down the motor, like get like a bike that has 20,000 miles on it, tear it down, show it before, put it back together, run the E85 and tear it back down and see what happens. Because that's actually kind of interesting. How do I know I'm getting straight E85 out of these gas pumps? Well, that is the fun part about it. You don't know. So they sell these little things on Amazon. I believe BT Moto sells them. It's called an E85 tester, and you just fill up this tester with water, and you fill the rest up with the fuel you're using, specifically E85, and you shake it up and you let it sit, and the fuel should sink, and it'll sink all the way down to whatever level the 85 is, whether it's E70, E60, whatever. The closer to E85 you get out of the pump, the better. The more horsepower you're gonna gain, like, as you possibly can. It's not like, oh, it's a range from 0 to 100. No, it's like whatever. Like I said, it just varies monster, like whatever you have done to your bike. It might be 5, it might be 7, it just depends. But yes, you can test your E85, and I encourage people to test that. Luckily, I do not have to do that, because like I said, I'm in a car group chat. They test this shit every week. And there's another thing on the App Store called Gas Buddy. You download Gas Buddy, and you put in your location, and basically you type in the fuel you're searching for. It'll pop up all the gas stations around your area that have E85, and it'll also, if someone bought from there that has Gas Buddy, they will update the price and ethanol content. So like, that's one of the tools I use. I don't have a tester myself, because like, to be honest with you, I don't really care what Lord have mercy, I don't really care what level of E85 I have, as long as it's, because mine will go all the way down to E30, I believe, E30 to E85. So like, obviously the lower the E, the less gains you create. But also, it's like, if I'm going to do something serious as far as like racing or whatnot, I'm going to get X85, and I'm not even going to worry about it. So I've already kind of touched on my next bulletin point here. I've already kind of touched on how E85 cannot sit for as long as 93 can. So like, if you plan on running the E85, just don't put it in your bike when you know your bike's gonna sit for a while, like i.e. wintertime, or like if you know you're about to go on vacation, you're gonna be away from your house for a while, like anything like that, like for a long period amount of time. I would say I wouldn't let anything like E85 sit in your bike over a month. I believe, yeah, I believe it says that on the BT Moto website as well. They don't recommend it sitting in your tank over a month. Alright, next little bullet point I have is, what about frequent oil changes? So I actually just learned this last night when I called my buddy, and he's been running the E85 for a while now. I think he dailies his Supra with the E85 in it. I don't think he switches at all. And he was telling me that you got to do frequent oil changes on his car, and I was like, really? I didn't know that. So obviously I had to do a little research, and you have to do the same thing with motorcycles. It doesn't matter what vehicle it is. If you run the E85, your OCI, your oil change interval decreases by a lot. So like if your oil on 93, you change it every 10,000 miles, it might drop down to 4,000 miles or 2,000. But I think like the rule of thumb, regardless of what vehicle it is, I think it's like in between like 2,000 and 4,000 miles, you change your oil. And then like another rule of thumb I've heard or read online, it was saying like if your oil smells like E85, it's time to change it. I don't know who's just draining their oil and smelling it and then putting it right back in their bike or their car. But I mean, if you do that, props to you, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. If I'm just gonna dump my oil, I'm just gonna change it all together. Bro, so many bugs are hitting me in the freaking chest today. One exploded on me on the way here in like my pants. Alright, so like now is the part of the video that everybody has been on my neck about. Oh, Hollywood, you went to the dyno and you only put 190 up on the dyno and you have all this stuff done to your bike. So let me just list off the things I have done to my bike real quick. I have stage 2 Brentune. I have the flapper delete kit. I have a gold heat air tape box mod. I have the E85 tune and IAT relocation kit on this bike, and velocity stacks, and they're all like, oh, you still made 190? That's ass. Okay, well, let me just explain real quick. So basically, me going to that dyno run, I already knew that his dyno was going to read low, because apparently his dyno is stingy, and also every dyno reads different. So like, I wasn't even going to be mad, but the closer to 200 that I got on the dyno, the happier I'd be. And I know this bike is supposed to be pushing. This bike is supposed to be pushing 230, because I calculated based on the mods that I've done to this bike, other than MR12, and they're all from BT Moto. If you calculate every single mod and add that to the base, like the stock wheel horsepower, it'll give you 230. So basically, I went there, you know, put it up on the dyno, hit 190, and everybody's like, what the hell? That's, I think 190 is stock. So, you know, and at the time, I was very upset. I didn't show it on camera, but I talked about it the whole way home because I was just so upset. I was like, there's no way. So after further investigation, BT Moto does all their dyno pulls in 5th gear on all their bikes. And KailerMade does all their dyno pulls in 4th gear. Now, I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. Also know that elevation is a factor in everything. How much, like what type of fuel I had in here. Let me just be clear, I did not have E85 out the pump. I went and bought race E85. it was straight like X85. It was straight E85. I tested it. I put it in the tank. Like I drove it. Like I put a full tank. I drove it down to about like I think 7 miles to E. Came back home. Put X85 in here. Rode it around till that was gone. And I filled it back up with X85 again. Then I loaded my bike up and took it to Atlanta. So like that's how I know it was straight X85. So, and then also if you saw in the video, a Scorpio, shout out Scorpio, his bike Scar put up 196 and it was on MR12. You know, that was crazy to me to see that he put up 196. And I know for a fact that MR12 outperforms E85 by a freaking football field. So like that also surprised me. So like, I'm not questioning I'm not questioning BT Moto. It is what it is. But I'm going off of what BT Moto has on their website, and this bike should be pushing 230 wheel horsepower, give or take. Now I'm going to go on more of 230 side, but it is what it is. So my overall thoughts on E85, man, I think it's if they sell it in your region, your area, I'll say it's very worth it. So when I got my bike, it only had a stage 2 Brent tune on it, flapper delete kit, and that was it. Man, when I tell you, I recommend you going through every step of the process of like mods and tunes. Do it. So stage 2 first, obviously, or stage 1 even, and just feel the difference. Then go stage 2, feel the difference, and then do E85, feel the difference. Then put velocity stacks in, feel the difference. So like, the only thing I'll say is, when I put my velocity stacks in, I mean, you guys already know it, you saw the video probably, I did my IAT relocation kit at the same time. So like, I can't really feel the difference of that mod, even though it's not gonna have any different horsepower output. It's just allowing your bike to read cooler temps, so you get more consistent dyno runs, pulls, etc. But yeah, when I first put E85 on this bike, I recorded my reaction, and it was night and day different. It pulled so hard in every single gear. And then even now with the velocity stacks having more mid-range and top-end power, like, this bike legit scares the shit out of me. Like, I have not been able to open my bike up fully until I went down to Atlanta and raced Scorpio, I raced Naldo, Ride with Jesus, and all them. Like, that was the first time in over a year, almost a year, that I've opened my bike up like that. And I had the E85 tune, the velocity stacks put in during that time, and never got to open my bike up like that. So like, it scared the shit out of me. Even when I was out there racing them, like, I still wasn't like full throttle pinned back, because like I said, it scared the shit out of me, and like, I don't want to fuck up out there and then have the trailer a broke bike back home, because man, I would have been crying the whole way home. But yeah, like I said, man, if they sell it around your area, I'd say get it. If they don't, I wouldn't recommend getting it unless you just have the money to buy a race X85, then that's up to you. But yeah, man, the process of like uploading the tune is very simple. I have a video on my channel. You just upload the tune, you go to the pump, or you get the race can out of your garage, wherever it's at, you put it in your tank, or you drain your fuel down as low as possible. It's like, I say under 20 miles till E, and then you put the fuel in there, you let it run for about 5 minutes so it'll swap over the maps, and I'm telling you, man, you will feel the freaking difference. It sounds like, especially if you have an exhaust on like mine, like full system, it sounds crisper, it pops like crazy. Like, it's just overall like worth it. And I can't believe that BT Moto was selling this thing for like $600 or $500. I actually see why now, the reason why they were doing that, because like, dude, like, it's, I'm not saying it's free games, but it's like, bro, it's a good in between MR12 and 93 pump gas. It's like a broke man's horsepower adder. But yeah, man, that's pretty much gonna wrap up the video. Now, let me just add one more thing. I haven't had any like performance issues with my bike, it acting weird, but other than, I will say, when I first got my tune, because it asks you what primary fuel you're going to be running, and I put 93 on there. So I uploaded the tune, and I didn't go get E85 right off the bat. I think I was in the process of going to go get it for the first time, and my bike just like, I pulled the clutch in, come to a red light, and it just shut off. And every time I swap back over to 93, I don't know if you guys ever heard in my video, when I come into a red light, I'll pull my clutch in, rev the bike up just a little bit. That's because I don't want my bike to shut off, because then I got to put it in neutral and cut my bike back on. I'm not saying that's embarrassing, but it's just like, it's an extra step that I have to do. But that is literally the only problem I've ran into so far with this E85 tune. Other than that, man, I freaking love it. Nothing but good things. Now, I do want to find a dyno that is a little bit closer, hopefully, and I can be able to trailer my bike to this dyno, so that way I can put X85 back in my bike and see how it compares to TaylorMade's dyno. Like I said, every dyno is different, and as long as it's close to 200, I know we're somewhere in the right ballpark, especially in 5th gear. Like I want to do it in 5th gear, and I should have asked them afterwards, after that meet, if we could do it in 5th gear, but I really wasn't worried about it, and that was weird. I've never had that happen. But yeah, man, that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, comment down below your favorite part of the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If I cannot answer it, I'm probably just going to direct you to Google, or I'll Google it for you and get back to you. Yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit those buttons. It helps me out a ton. It pushes my videos out to the algorithm. And after saying all that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.